Aaron had never thought of himself as brave. Living on the outskirts of the planet Vierlia, he spent most of his days scavenging through the ruins left by a civilization long gone. The sky above was a dull shade of orange, the kind of color that made the world feel endless and empty at the same time. Wind carried dust that cut at his skin, but he had learned to ignore it. Survival was not about comfort. It was about noticing small signs that others would miss. That day, Aaron's routine was broken. While searching through a series of old stone structures, he noticed a faint vibration in the ground, something rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. At first he thought it was his imagination. The ruins often played tricks on the mind, shadows moving where none existed, echoes repeating in strange patterns. But this was different. The vibration was soft, steady, and clearly not natural. He paused, crouching behind a crumbling wall. The source seemed to come from deeper inside the ruins, where the stone floors had collapsed long ago. Dust and broken beams formed dangerous obstacles, but curiosity pressed him forward. Aaron wasn't the kind to shy away from the unknown. That unknown had, on more than one occasion, provided food, water, or tools he could sell. And now he felt a different pull, one that wasn't about survival, but about understanding what was calling to him. As he moved carefully through the ruins, he heard a sound, a soft, muffled voice that seemed far too small for the massive stones surrounding him. He froze, listening. It was faint, almost desperate, yet there was an unmistakable tone of intelligence in it. "Hello. Is anyone there?" the voice whispered. Aaron's heart jumped. His first thought was another scavenger, someone younger perhaps, lost and scared. But as he scanned the shadows, he saw no one. The voice seemed to come from below him. Cautiously, he approached a large stone slab that had tilted to form a small triangular opening. Light barely passed through the gap, but he could see movement. A small hand reached out and then pulled back as if testing the world outside. "Hello," Aaron said gently. "I'm not going to hurt you." There was a pause. Then a pair of wide, unfamiliar eyes peeked through the gap. They were a soft shade of silver, almost reflective, and they blinked rapidly. The face attached to them was young, perhaps 16, he guessed, but alien. Pointed ears and a slight glow in the skin made it clear she did not belong to any human settlement. I'm trapped," she said in careful English, though her accent was strange. "I don't know how long I've been here." Aaron knelt to meet her gaze, trying to seem as non-threatening as possible. "I can help. Can you tell me how you got stuck?" She hesitated, biting her lower lip. "My siblings, we were exploring. I made a mistake." The chamber, it closed. Her voice quivered, but there was no hint of tears, only determination. Aaron felt a strange mixture of relief and anxiety. Relief that she was alive. Anxiety because the ruins were unstable and one wrong move could collapse the stones further. "Okay," he said, taking a deep breath. "We'll get you out, but I need you to stay calm and tell me what you can reach." The girl nodded. "I can touch the wall here," she said, pointing with a trembling finger. "It has panels, strange patterns. I think it responds to touch." Aaron examined the stone. Faint lines glowed softly under her guidance, like circuits etched into the rock. The ruins were old, but the technology inside had been preserved in ways he didn't understand. Most humans on Vierlia didn't know how to operate it. Yet here was a small alien who seemed to have the knowledge. "All right," he muttered. "We'll need to do this together." For hours, Aaron guided the girl's hands through the panels while he tried to wedge stones and beams out of the way. Each time the chamber shifted, they had to pause, adjusting their positions to avoid being crushed. The sun moved across the sky outside, casting long shadows that made the ruins appear alive, like they were watching. "I'm Aaron," he said at one point, trying to distract both himself and her from the tension. "What's your name?" "Lyra," she replied. "Lyra Tershi." It was a strange name, soft and lyrical. Aaron liked it. He also liked that she spoke clearly despite being scared. It showed strength, something humans had learned to value long ago when survival meant more than just avoiding death. "Lyra, tell me everything about the panels. How do they work?" Aaron asked. She explained in her alien tongue at first, then translated for him into the broken English she had learned from listening to traders. "Touch here, then press the triangle lightly. It responds to thought patterns or intention, not strength, not force. You must imagine freedom for it to open." Aaron frowned. "Imagine freedom," she nodded. "It is like it listens to what you want, you must believe it." He blinked. This was no ordinary technology. It was almost alive, responding to intention rather than action. He had heard of such devices in old legends, but never seen one in practice. Together, they worked. Aaron supported her from behind, moving rubble, holding beams steady. Lyra guided his hands as much as he guided hers. Slowly, the panels responded, glowing brighter in areas where they focused their thoughts. The vibration from earlier grew stronger, but in a different way now, like the chamber itself was waking. Hours passed. Time became meaningless as they concentrated. Sweat dripped from Aaron's brow and Lyra's breathing became ragged. Yet they pressed on, sharing small stories to keep their minds steady. Lyra spoke of her home planet, its floating cities, and the traditions of her people. Aaron spoke of Vierlia, the harsh lands, and how humans had adapted over centuries. "You know," she said after a long pause, "humans are clever. You can see patterns that others miss. You adapt quickly." Aaron smiled despite the dust and exhaustion. "We have to. Otherwise, we don't survive." Finally, a soft click echoed through the chamber. A section of stone shifted slightly, creating a small passageway. Light from outside flickered in, washing over Lyra's silver skin. She reached for Aaron's hand and he helped her squeeze through. Once outside, she collapsed to her knees, breathing heavily. Aaron offered her water from his flask. She drank slowly, then looked around at the ruins, wide-eyed. "They didn't know I was trapped," she said quietly. "I thought I would never get out." "You're safe now," Aaron said. "But you have to stay close. The ruins are unstable. One wrong step." He let the threat hang unsaid, but both knew it was true. Lyra nodded. "I will. Thank you, Aaron." As they began walking back toward what passed for civilization on Vierlia, Aaron felt a strange sense of pride. Not because he had saved someone, though that mattered, but because humans had again shown their strength, not in brute force, but in thought, perseverance, and ingenuity. That was what made them special. Above them, the sky turned a deeper shade of orange, signaling the end of the day. Dust swirled around the ruins like silent watchers. Aaron and Lyra moved forward, step by careful step, their shadows stretching behind them. For now, the immediate danger was gone, but the bond they had formed, and the challenges ahead, would shape both of their lives in ways neither could yet imagine. After escaping the ruins, Aaron and Lyra moved cautiously through the rocky terrain. The sunlight had faded into a soft violet, casting long shadows across the jagged cliffs. The air was dry and carried a faint metallic taste, a reminder that Vierlia was an unforgiving place. Aaron adjusted the strap of his pack and glanced at Lyra. She was exhausted, but her silver eyes shone with determination. Despite her young age, she refused to let fear take over. "You'll need to rest soon," Aaron said, scanning the area. "These cliffs are unstable and the path ahead is tricky." Lyra nodded, brushing dust from her clothing. "I can keep going," she said softly. "I want to get back to my siblings. They will be worried." Aaron smiled faintly. Her concern for her family was admirable. Humans often had to survive alone, but here was a young alien showing loyalty and courage that matched any human he had known. They found a small ledge that offered some safety and decided to stop. Aaron pulled out a water container and offered it to Lyra. She drank slowly, then looked around at the horizon. "This planet, it is harsh," she said, her voice thoughtful. "But humans, you survive anywhere. How do you do it?" Aaron shrugged. "We adapt. We watch, we think, and we don't give up. That's the way we've lasted this long." Lyra considered his words carefully. I see that now, she said. You think in ways my people might not. You solve problems not by force but by understanding. Aaron chuckled. Guess that's our superpower. As night fell, the temperature dropped sharply. They set up a small fire using flammable rocks and dried plant material. Lyra had never seen fire made this way, and she watched in fascination as the flames danced and crackled. It is beautiful, she whispered. On my planet, we do not have fire like this, only lights. Cold light, never warm, Aaron nodded. It's more than light, it keeps you safe, keeps you alive. They ate a simple meal of ration bars and some dried fruit Lyra had brought from her pack. Conversation turned to Lyra's siblings. She explained that she had been exploring with them when she accidentally triggered the chamber. Her siblings had tried to follow her path but had failed to open the mechanisms. They will not understand, she said. They think I am careless. I cannot explain. You'll explain later, Aaron said reassuringly. Right now, the important thing is getting back to them safely. Then you can tell your story. The next morning, the climb down from the cliffs was slow and careful. Aaron led, scouting the path for loose stones or hidden pitfalls. Lyra followed closely, her hands brushing against the walls of rock for support. Her small frame moved gracefully, but she occasionally stumbled, reminding Aaron that even the strongest needed guidance. They reached a narrow valley where strange, glowing plants grew. Lyra knelt to examine them. These are called lumeris, she said. They respond to touch and light. They are harmless, but they can be distracting. Aaron raised an eyebrow. Distracting? Yes, she said. They glow brighter when touched or when you think of strong emotions. Sometimes travelers get lost staring at them. Aaron laughed quietly. Good thing I have you to guide me then. The valley stretched for miles, and as they walked, they encountered remnants of old alien machinery scattered across the ground. Some looked like tools, others resembled vehicles, long rusted and inoperable. Lyra studied them with curiosity, touching panels and speaking softly in her language. Aaron noticed that some panels responded, faint lights flickering as if acknowledging her presence. This technology, it's alive in some way, she explained. It reacts to intention, not touch, like the chamber. I think it remembers. Aaron was amazed. Humans had developed complex machines, but this was beyond anything he had seen. It was a mixture of magic and science, or perhaps science so advanced it seemed magical. As they walked, a sudden tremor shook the ground. Aaron grabbed Lyra's hand instinctively. Rocks fell around them and dust filled the air. Stay close, he shouted. Move toward the ridge. They ran, dodging falling debris. Lyra's agility helped them avoid the worst of it, but a small rock scraped her arm. She winced but didn't stop. Together they reached the ridge, breathing heavily as the ground settled. You okay? Aaron asked. Lyra nodded, brushing dust from her hair. Yes, that was dangerous. Aaron studied the valley below. The tremor had revealed a hidden path, a winding trail leading down toward a river that shimmered with bioluminescent algae. That's lucky, he said. It will lead us faster toward your home. They descended carefully. The river's glow illuminated the path, creating a surreal scene. Lyra smiled faintly. It is beautiful, she said. Even after danger, there is beauty. Hours passed, and they finally approached a settlement built into the cliffs. Small structures glowed softly, suspended from rock ledges with delicate-looking bridges connecting them. Lyra's siblings were there, searching, calling her name. Lyra, one of them shouted as soon as they saw her. She ran, leaping over the glowing river to reach them. Her siblings embraced her, relief and worry mingling in their expressions. Aaron watched quietly, smiling. He had done his part, but the human part of him, logic, observation, patience, had guided them safely. One of the siblings looked at him with suspicion at first, but Lyra quickly introduced him. This is Aaron. He helped me. He saved me. The group's eyes widened. A human, one whispered. Yes, Lyra said firmly, and clever and strong and brave. Without him, I might not be here. The siblings nodded slowly, beginning to understand the human he was describing. Humans were known for their resourcefulness, but seeing it in action changed perceptions. Aaron felt a strange warmth. This was why humans survived, not just because they could fight or endure, but because they could think, adapt, and act with purpose. That was a strength that no alien technology could match. As night fell over the settlement, Aaron sat with Lyra and her siblings. They shared stories of their adventures, of past explorations and future dreams. The bond between human and alien strengthened with every word, every shared laugh, every careful observation of the glowing world around them. Lyra turned to Aaron quietly. "I think my people will see humans differently now," she said. "Your courage, your mind, it is admirable." Aaron shrugged, smiling. "We just do what we can. That's all humans ever do." The stars emerged in the sky, thousands of points of light reflected in the river below. Aaron felt small in that vast universe, yet stronger than he had ever felt before. He had survived, he had helped, and he had proven that human intelligence and determination could shine even in a world of wonders and dangers beyond imagination. The night passed peacefully. Aaron knew the challenges were not over. Lyra's world was full of unknowns, and future explorations could be far more dangerous. But for now, he had done what humans did best: adapted, solved problems, and made a difference. That was enough. As he closed his eyes under the alien sky, he thought about tomorrow. There would be new obstacles, new puzzles to solve, and perhaps more lives to help. And he was ready. Humans were always ready. The morning sun rose over the cliffs, casting golden light across Lyra's settlement. The air was cool and crisp, carrying the faint scent of the glowing plants that lined the pathways. Aaron woke early, stretching his limbs. He could hear the soft hum of the settlement awakening, small movements, gentle voices, and the quiet chatter of children practicing flight in the light air currents that swept through the cliffs. Lyra was already awake, standing near the edge of the river that flowed through the settlement. She had her hands on the smooth railing, looking out as though measuring the distance to something unseen. Aaron approached quietly. "Thinking about your siblings again?" he asked. She turned, her silver eyes glinting with thought. "Not just them. The ruins, the chamber, the strange paths we have yet to explore. There is much danger here, but also much to learn. I want to understand it before anyone else gets hurt." Aaron nodded. "Then let's make a plan. First safety, then exploration. Always safety first." They spent the morning walking through the settlement, observing the alien architecture. Bridges of transparent, crystal-like material connected cliffside platforms, glowing softly. Wind turbines shaped like spiraled shells turned slowly in the breeze, providing light and energy. Lyra explained how her people had harnessed the planet's natural forces for centuries. Aaron listened carefully, taking mental notes. Humans were clever, but their strength often came from understanding patterns. He could already see how some of these mechanisms might fail under stress, how small errors could lead to accidents. Lyra led him to a workshop where tools of alien design were scattered across smooth surfaces. "This is where my siblings and I study," she said. "We experiment with the ruins' technology, trying to learn what is safe." Aaron examined a panel embedded with softly glowing symbols. He ran his fingers over the surface carefully. "It reacts to touch and intention," he said, "just like the chamber." Lyra nodded. "Yes, it is intelligent, not alive in the sense of breathing, but it senses. It remembers patterns and responds. It can help or it can trap." "Then we need a careful approach," Aaron said. "I can help you study it safely, without triggering anything dangerous." They spent the day mapping out parts of the ruins visible from the settlement. Using simple tools and careful observation, Aaron taught Lyra how to notice weak points, how to test mechanisms gently, and how to predict the effects of movement. She was quick to learn, her sharp mind absorbing the strategies like a sponge. By evening, they had discovered a pathway into the deeper ruins that appeared stable, with no immediate threats. Lyra's siblings joined them, curious but cautious. "Are you sure it is safe?" asked her older brother, his eyes narrowed. Aaron nodded. "I've checked every step we can reach. Nothing should collapse. We move slowly and watch each other." The group agreed to continue at first light. That night, Lyra approached Aaron privately. "I am glad you are here," she said quietly. "Humans, you think differently. You see what others do not. You take risks, but you calculate them. I could not do this alone." Aaron smiled. "We all need someone else sometimes, even humans." The next day, they entered the ruins. The passageway Aaron and Lyra had identified led to a large hall, walls covered in glowing symbols and strange mechanical patterns. Dust hung in the air, sparkling faintly in the filtered light. The group moved carefully, each step deliberate. Lyra led them to a section of the wall that had previously been sealed. She touched a glowing symbol lightly, then stepped back. The wall shifted, revealing a hidden chamber filled with devices of unknown purpose. "This is amazing," Aaron whispered. "These machines, they are centuries old but still functional, almost alive." Lyra nodded. "They were made by my ancestors. Few know how to operate them safely. That is why so many ruins are dangerous." Aaron examined a panel with multiple glowing buttons. Carefully, he pressed one while Lyra guided him with gestures. The machine responded, spinning slowly, producing soft light and gentle hums. The rest of the group watched in awe. Suddenly, one device began to vibrate, louder and faster. Aaron froze, realizing it was reacting to their attention. He gestured to step back, then examined the control panel. "It is testing us," he said. "Not dangerous, but it is alive in a way. It responds to intent. Stay calm." Lyra mirrored his movements, guiding the others. Together, they adjusted their positions and actions. Slowly, the device settled and the vibration stopped. A hidden door opened, revealing another chamber filled with crystals that emitted soft, warm light. "This is beautiful," Lyra said, stepping inside carefully. Aaron smiled. "And safe, thanks to planning and observation." They explored the chamber, finding records of ancient technology and tools designed for energy harvesting. Lyra touched a crystal and it responded, pulsing gently in her hand. "It listens," she whispered, "to what you need, to what you intend." Aaron realized that human problem-solving, observation, patience, and creativity was exactly what this alien technology required. They could not brute force their way through. They had to think to adapt, and humans were masters of that. As the day wore on, the group discovered patterns in the ruins, learning how to navigate safely and uncover valuable knowledge. Lyra's siblings began to admire Aaron, no longer skeptical. His presence had transformed their understanding, showing that humans could contribute in ways they had never imagined. By evening, they returned to the settlement, their minds buzzing with discoveries. The glowing river reflected their faces, and for a moment, Aaron felt at peace. He had come to this alien world as a stranger, yet now he was part of a team, helping a new civilization understand its own history safely. Lyra approached him as the group rested. "Your people, you are amazing," she said. "You do not have magic, yet you make the impossible happen. You survive." Aaron shrugged, smiling. "We just think, we adapt, we never give up." The night passed quietly, stars twinkling above like distant eyes watching over the cliffs. Aaron felt a deep satisfaction. Humans had always faced challenges, from harsh planets to dangerous creatures, yet here he was, proving that intellect and perseverance could shine in even the most alien of worlds. The next morning, they returned to the chamber with even greater confidence. Using the patterns they had learned, Aaron led the group through complex passages, avoiding hazards that would have trapped the unwary. Lyra guided him through her knowledge, blending intuition with his logic. Together, they reached the central chamber, a place untouched for centuries. Crystals of varying colors emitted soft light, illuminating symbols on the walls. Lyra studied them carefully while Aaron examined mechanical devices nearby. "Look at this," he said, pointing to a control panel. "It reacts to focus and intention. If we work together, we can uncover its secrets without triggering danger." Lyra nodded. "Yes, we must be precise." For hours they experimented, testing devices, observing responses, and adjusting their methods. Each success built confidence, each failure taught lessons. By combining human logic with alien intuition, they achieved what neither could do alone. Finally, a hidden mechanism activated, opening a vault filled with ancient knowledge, records of energy systems, environmental controls, and maps of previously unknown regions. Lyra gasped. This will help everyone," she said, her voice filled with wonder. Aaron smiled. "And it proves humans have something valuable to offer even here." Her siblings approached, admiration clear in their eyes. "We were wrong," one admitted. "Humans, you are clever beyond measure." Lyra placed a hand on Aaron's shoulder. "You have shown us courage, intelligence, and patience. That is why we are alive today. That is why we can explore safely." Aaron felt a warmth he had rarely experienced. Not pride exactly, but a deep satisfaction in seeing the impact of human ingenuity. Humans survived not because they were strongest, but because they observed, adapted, and solved problems creatively. As the sun set, casting golden light over the cliffs, the group returned to the settlement. Lyra's siblings now looked at Aaron as an equal, a guide, and a friend. Knowledge of the ruins would be shared safely, and the alien civilization would benefit from human insight. Sitting beside Lyra that night, Aaron looked up at the stars. He felt a profound connection to the universe, a reminder that even in a vast, alien world, human qualities, patience, intelligence, and courage could make a difference. Lyra spoke softly beside him. "Humans, you are remarkable. You survive, you adapt, you create solutions." "You shine," Aaron smiled. "We just do what we must, and sometimes we make friends along the way." The night air was calm, and for the first time in a long while, Aaron felt fully at home. Humans had survived countless challenges, and here, on an alien world filled with wonders and dangers, that survival meant more than staying alive. It meant making a difference, helping others, and proving that courage and intellect could shine anywhere, even among the stars. And as they looked out over the glowing river and the cliffs beyond, Aaron knew that this was only the beginning. Humans had a way of turning challenges into opportunities, of finding solutions where others saw only danger. That was the heart of humanity, and it would continue to shine, even in the farthest reaches of the galaxy.